Okay, so welcome to our class. If it's your first time, welcome. This is a relaxed, hopefully relaxed, not expecting perfection, a watercolor class. It's all about fun and learning something new and enjoying the time together with like-minded artists. So we would just like to get into art mode, just releasing any problems, any thoughts, anything that's troubling you right now. Just set that aside for a moment, put that in the parking lot if you're able to do that. And we'll just take 3 deep breaths in. And as we take a deep breath in, at the top of the breath, just hold that breath just for a second or two, and then release. And you can release fast or slow, that's entirely up to you. And that pause, that moment where you hold that breath is actually meditation. It's very healthy for you to be able to just stop and be completely in the present. So we'll do that 3 times, and then we'll talk about what you would need for the art class today, and then we'll get going. So let's take a deep breath in and hold it and out. And drop those shoulders as you release. We hold a lot of tension here, so try and drop those shoulders away from your ears. Another deep breath in and hold it and release. Really let that go. And another deep breath in and hold it and release and drop those shoulders down. So we hold some guilt here, we hold some stress here. So just give yourself a little shake, and we'll just let whatever happens with our brushes, we'll just have a light grip on our brushes, not a death grip. We'll just hang on lightly. This is not life-threatening. For those that are using a canvas, it's just a canvas. For those using a watercolor paper, it's just a piece of paper. And sometimes a piece of paper just wants to be a piece of paper. So if it's not going your way today, that's okay. You've got you'll have the idea after today, and you can repeat this process. It's also fun to talk about mats. And please remind me if I don't talk about mats at the end of this class, especially because this is a black and white. We can put any color mat we want. So you can actually match the decor of your room with a mat on your picture if you do it in a monotone color. So we'll need 2 containers of water. One I like to keep clear, just for clear water, and one I use for cleaning my brushes. We'll want a pencil and an eraser. If you've got it, this is just a dollar store eraser. I think they come 3 or 4 in a pack, quite inexpensive. I do have an angle brush in case I want to do some angles, so it's just got a little bit of a curve to it. Whoops, go to where you can actually see it. And I've got a wider brush because the black on the cat is a little bit bigger. So this is a 3/4 inch width brush. And we're mostly going to use black. We will use some white, or if you want to leave the background because your watercolor is white, you can just leave it white, or on your canvas, you can leave it white if you choose. The picture is up above. If you look closely, you can see the eye, the one eye, the whiskers, and the mouth are what we will be doing in the white color. As I said, I use Chinese white. So we're going to draw this together. So I, just like you have, now I've drawn mine, but you can't really see it very well. So that's okay. What we will do is we will take our canvas. We're going from the side. So we're going sideways, horizontally, and right across the center. So just sort of eyeball where the center of your canvas is. So this would be the center for me, the bottom line. And we're just going to draw a line from one side. I just don't want to have this ruler slip. So we're going from one side to the other side. Let's try it this way. And we're just going to draw a straight line all the way across. So that's all we have so far, a straight line all the way across. So then we're going to draw this. There's a little cup. There's a little cup about 1 inch in on the far side of your picture.
Kath, you said a pencil, but do you want us to use marker?
You can use a marker if you like, but I think you'll be happier if you use a pencil, because if you want to change any of the lines with the pencil and eraser, you'll be able to.
Thank you.
I'm simply using the marker so that it's very clear to everyone that you can see what I'm doing. So this is just a little cup, a little coffee cup, and I'm just going to put a little handle at the side. Now there's a reason why I did the cup first, so that you can judge the distance for your cat. So we're doing an arch at the little arch at the bottom, coming up to a triangle. This is the cat's head. I'm coming straight across. And I'm going to do another triangle. And I can bring that face right down. So that's the cat's head. Well, that's all we're drawing right now, just the little cup and the cat's head. So if you're using pencil and you need it to be erased, that's a good reason why the pencil and the eraser would be good for you to have. Now we'll just draw in that cat's eye, which is a round eye, only one, and 2 little bars in the center of the eye. So there's a little space in between. So that's all we've done so far. It's just done the cat's head and the cup and the line across the center. Now there's a reason that I did it this way, so you can see the distance. Now at the top of that ear, I'm just going to put a little line, just where the ear starts on the head. I'm just going to put a little line there. And then I'm coming the same distance that I have from the side of my canvas to my cup. I'm coming in that same distance on the other side, and I'm going to draw a little line, just a little line. And then I'm going to take that line, I'm going to put a big body for the cat, and I'm going to join it to that other line. So I'm taking the back of the cat, joining it all the way up to the front of the cat. And if it's not completely straight, not to worry, we're going to paint it anyway, so you'll have lots of chance to fix up anything that you might need to adjust. So at this point, we just have a cup. We have a head. We have one eye. And we have a body. So if you're needing to erase and put in lines, just do a light line the first time, and then it'll be easier to erase. Unless you're using a marker, if you're comfortable with that. Now let's give this cat some legs. So in the center of his face, we're going to give him a long leg, and underneath his eye, we're going to give him a long leg. And they don't have to be straight. They don't have to be perfect. If you want to use the ruler and have them be completely straight, good for you. And then we're going to go to the back end and we'll give him some long legs on the back. So 2 long legs at the back. It's just good if the legs are the same length. Take a deep breath in. Remember, it's just a piece of paper. Just take a deep breath. Drop those shoulders. And now let's give this cat a tail. So coming out of the back of the tail or back of the body, coming around, we're just giving this cat a tail. So we'll just festive up this little guy. So let's just give him an ornament. I'm coming around with the string and down. And I'm going to put a little Christmas ornament hanging from the tail. And let's heat this coffee up. So let's give it a little bit of heat. So remember, take a deep breath in. Just relax. And while I've got this cat and its feet here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put a little bit of, just a little bit of paws on the feet. So just a little bit of paws there, just a little bit rounded.
Sweetie, are we going to paint that or should we mark it with a magic marker?
We're going to paint it. So if you've drawn it, you don't need to put the magic marker. If you've already drawn it, then you've got what you need.
For the paws.
We're going to put a little bit of white on the paws at the very end. So while you're drawing, I'm going to go ahead and read our card for today. And Patricia drew out nourishment. So from the May You Know Joy meditation cards for everyday living, may you know nourishment. May you nourish your mind, your body, and your soul daily. They are your divine trinity. Nourish your fibers, your ideas, and your values. Strengthening these will carry you further than you might dream possible. May you treat yourself with kindness and compassion and share your nourishment with those in need of it. They will come to you and you will both be nourished in the process. So may you know nourishment. Thank you, Patricia. That was lovely. Okay, so let's start to get some fun color on this. I know it's only black and white, but let's put some color on and bring our cat to life. So I'm going to use black, and I'm using my 3/4 inch brush, which is quite wide because it's a big area to cover. And if I want to adjust any areas on the outside that didn't seem quite smooth, then I have the opportunity to do that with my brush now. So I'm just using wet on dry. So it's dry paper and just plain black paint. So I'm just going to fill in the body. So you can see I have some areas that are just getting a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to continue with the brush to smooth that out, round that back all the way down right to the line, and I'm coming right across that line. Whoops, I've gone below the line, but I'm not worried about that. Maybe it's a furry cat and it's hanging below the table edge. And then I'm just going to continue and fill in that whole body in black. And I'm not worried about going over the line of the face because the face is just going to be one continuation of the whole body. But if I do find that my paint is starting to thin out a little bit and I'm just getting gray spots, I'm going to go back and put fresh gray and just cover the complete coverage. And then I'm just going to paint the back legs in black, just solid black. And even where I'm going to paint white on the little toes or the little pads of the cat's feet, I'm still going to paint it black. I'll let it dry and then I'll come back and put the white on top. So if you're new and this is your first time and it just seems like, oh, you're only doing black and white pictures. No, we do lots of different color pictures. But for this week, I just thought it would be nice to do some work with only black and white, and we can see what the effects will be. And then from there, I'm going to continue to do the tail, all in solid black. And if your tail ends up a little bumpy, don't worry about it. Maybe someone stepped on its tail, or maybe got run over by a bike or something. So I'm leaving that little string that's gone over the tail to hold my ornament. And if you want to put a color or leave your ornament white and put stripes or something on it, you can do that. I'm going to paint my ornament black, and then I'm going to come back and put little white dots on it. And I'm going to paint my coffee mug and my coffee mug handle in black.
Cathy, did you do the string as well in paint, or is that still just your marker?
That's just marker. If you want to, if you have a fine line marker you want to use on that, or if you're steady enough, you want to go ahead and paint that string, then go ahead. So I've switched from my 3/4 inch brush to my number 3 little brush, just my pointed brush. And now I'm doing the front legs right down and including those paws. I'm doing both legs. Not worried that I've got a little bit of paint up into the face because the face is going to be all black as well. We have lots of time, so take your time. Take a deep breath if you need. It's a big area to cover, so take your time. And if it starts to look a little bit gray, you can go back on and put fresh black. And if you're using a canvas, just be sure that you've covered all your areas. Sometimes some of those little lines in the fabric don't all get covered, so take your time. In the center of that eye, there's two lines, and I'm just going to fill in the center with a black stripe. And if you're going to leave the white space for the ears where there's a little triangle, you can leave that white space. I'm going to use white paint on mine, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. I'm not worried too much about, I don't have to worry that way then about where that white, if that white's going to stay in the center or not. So I'm just going to use black paint again, wet paint on dry. And I'm just painting that cat's face. And I'm just going to go around the whole outside of that eye that I drew. So I'm just taking my time getting fresh paint a little bit at a time. So I'm sure that I've got that same depth of color. And if there's any areas that I want to touch up now, I can do that while I let the rest dry. So I'm going to let this dry before I put the white on. If I try to put white on now, it's going to get mucked up and then I'll be unhappy with the results. But while I've got this on my board, actually I'm going to switch it over. I'm going to put the other one that's completed on the board. I'll just move the wet one to the other screen. And I just want to talk a little bit about mats. So if I put a black or a blue mat, because my room is blue, then this would work very well. Whoops, this would work very well. So depending on the color of your room or your decor, you can use different color mats, and it really brings out, it'll bring out your room colors, and it will make your picture look that much better with a mat on it. So you just need to remember when you are putting your mat on before you sign your picture, think about where your signature is so that it shows up outside of the mat. So these are just different colors, just to give you an idea of what a mat can do for your picture. So it just depends on your decor. Whoops, it depends on your decor, where you're going to put it, what room, if you're going to give it as a gift. I guess you could put it in a black and white. I don't happen to have a black and white, but there's one in red. It's kind of fun in red, actually. This is the back of the mat. And I just have sticky on it. I have a little bit of tape on my mat, but I would take the canvas right off the mat, or right off my picture. I would put my picture in behind, put my picture on the mat. So when I turn it around, I would tape my canvas to the mat here. I would just simply tape it on. So that's the red one. So the red, I think out of all of them, I quite like the red one the best. I think it really helps that to stand out. So a mat's a good idea. If you're giving it as a gift, it just adds a little bit more. So now hopefully that's given enough time for my black to dry. So I'm back to the one without the nose and without the mouth. And when we talked about two colors, or two containers of water, because I've been using black, you can see I've still got a clear one to work with, and my black one is completely full from the black paint. So now, because I've got a second one, I can go ahead and work with my white. So I'm going to make sure my brush is completely cleared off. And I'm going into my white. And just so that I have a nice spot to start with, just to try out to see if it's going to work at this point, I'm going to do the little triangles inside the ears. So it's just a little triangle inside the triangle that's already painted in black. And it just ends at the top of the head. Now it's not completely white like the background. It's a little bit of a gray white. I can go back and I can add a little bit of fresh white if I like. But I don't need it to be completely crisp for this picture. And then I'm going to give a little nose, or a little bit, almost an oval nose for the cat. Almost an oval, not quite round. And then, because I want to make a really fine line with my brush, I'm going to practice on my my paint tray first to get a really thin line. And I'm just looking for a sort of an angled line for the mouth and two little lines off. And then I'd like some whiskers. So he's kind of a sleepy cat. I'm going back into my fresh white paint and practicing on my tray, just making little thin lines. I'm going to go onto the paws, and I'm just going to give a few little dots for spaces between the paws. To do the same on the back paws. So remember, it's just a piece of paper. Just take a deep breath. This would make a very cute Christmas card or a nice little picture to give to someone as a gift. Always think of that with your artwork. If you like it, then I'm sure someone else would. And now I'm going to go around my Christmas ornament. I'm just going to do a bead-like white dots. So this is your Christmas ornament for your cat. You can make it what you like. If you want to make it into plaid, if you want to put white around in the circle, if you want to do a spiral, There's lots of different options for you. He's only has one eye open. He's a sleepy cat. So you only see the whiskers. So it is an abstract and it is a silhouette, which means it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you decide you want to add some color to this, you can certainly add color to this. You could make your ornament red, or you could make that the coffee creamy looking, or whatever that drink is that they're having. You could give that a little bit of color. You could do Christmas lights around the top. There's lots of different things that you could do to really give this your own individual characteristic. So if you want, you can go ahead and you can put some Christmas decorations, some light strings. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just doing some swirls on the top of my page. That's just using black. Then I can put Christmas lights on that. Because this is black and white, I can just put my ornaments or my lights in black. But if this is where I had said, if you want to individualize and put Christmas lights in a different color, this is a beautiful time to do that. So I'm just randomly putting little light bulbs on this string. So you can add as few or as many or as few lights as you like. And keeping in mind where you put your mat, if that's what you're going to do with your picture. I'm signing my picture by the paw, by the front paw. And I'm just going to put this red mat on my picture. And so I still have my ornaments showing through. At the top, whoops, and I have my cat and my cup. My ornament down below isn't quite coming through, but I'm not worried. I think you can tell that's what that is. So there you have it. And that's what you can do in 1 hour, actually a little bit less. And we took our time. I hope that was enjoyable to you. Stay safe. See you Thursday for those that are coming. And if you're not able to, happy holidays. Bye-bye.